Welcome to Shyzabox. Here's your host. Oh yeah, oh yeah, ho 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 ho! Oh hey, Sony Pony, ho 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 ho! Calm down. We'll feed you some Game Pass later. Get out of here. And the horse you rode in on. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome one, welcome all, welcome to Shyzabox. We have got a fantastic show for you today. No, you don't. You don't got a fantastic show. Well, we've got a show. It's free. You get what you pay for. Well, he's got you there. That's right. Get out of here. Anyhow, welcome to Shyzabox. We, of course, are all things Xbox, right? You have to be when you're shelling out that monthly subscription to Game Pass, right? Hell yeah. But, of course, speaking of Game Pass, they released a little title that we had a little chat about not too long ago, and believe you me, we said we were going to complete this one, and believe you me again, we actually did complete this one, even though we usually don't do stuff that we agree to. Just like the contract that makes us have to do all these shitty episodes, we ended up playing through the rest of South of the Midnight. That's right. Oh man, everyone didn't really like that one too much. Yeah, well, that was pretty weird, because everything that, people said we'd take issue with, or that we would take offense with, or that was going to be injected or crammed and shoved down our throat, we didn't see any of that. Let us do a reenactment of Phil Spencer sitting in his office, pretty much saying that he doesn't want any dumbass shit in his games, and, resulting in the game that we played. Maybe we played a different game from other people, but with a lot of conjecture, a lot of liberties and such. Okay, this didn't happen in this universe, but maybe in an alternate universe or reality some way. In some way, shape, or form. Somewhere. Maybe something along the lines happened. So, Phil Spencer sitting in his office, and, he's a huge Shyzabox fan, so he's got his custom-made Shyzabox hoodie on, of course, and he's there. I am Phil Spencer. I'm very busy today shopping for hoodies. I don't want a dumbass game coming out on Game Pass, because I kick ass and so does Game Pass. I'm Phil Spencer. Game Pass pickup, I am Phil Spencer. Game Pass sees the red phone flashing in the Game Pass department. They're like, shit! Turn off Hanson's Mbop! I said turn off Hanson's Mbop! And it's like, after the chorus! Do-wop, dip-da-ba, do-wop, dip-da-ba, do-wop. Oh, you motherfuckers better pick up the phone! Fucking turn that shit off! Yeah. Oh, fuck you, Game Pass. I'm starting to get angry. Okay. Game Pass department. I am Phil Spencer. What the fuck were you doing? Sorry, Phil Spencer. It just started ringing now. What? Okay, I'm Phil Spencer. Don't put dumb shit in Game Pass games. And then he slams down the phone, and he's like, whoo, you fucking assholes. Thank you for not letting me miss the chorus too. And scene. Okay, so, a lot of liberties, a lot of conjecture. Phil Spencer's back in his office, doing whatever he does, drinking out of his favorite superhero cup. Motherfucking Spider-Man, right? Probably. He's hanging out and doing whatever he does, right? So, scene, right? That's all over. Probably didn't happen that way in any way, shape, or form, but, a lot of conjecture, a lot of liberties taken. Maybe something along those lines somewhere or another, an alternate dimension or reality. The point is that everything that we weren't supposed to like about South of Midnight, everything that was supposed to be prevalent in this game and inherently rampant throughout it, that was supposed to be being shoved and force-fed down our throat, making it a shitty experience to undertake or, go through in its entirety in one way, shape, or form, we saw none of it. We saw a AA title that was released, that had a start, that had a end, that had some ups and had some downs, that had an insanely remarkable art style and direction that it presented to the gameplay and the player and the cutscenes and all of the artistic aspect and art direction of it in its entirety. The music was good and bad at the same time. The story was okay and mediocre at the same time. The gameplay was consistently done before through its entirety. Like we said in our other talk, the difference is that you don't gotta wait around for your force powers. You get your force push and force pull right off the bat. You get your grappling of the hook. You get your floaty. You get your double E jump, okay? You get access to this stuff inherently when you need it right off the bat. You don't got to do the dumb shit of, waiting around the entire trek of the game for it, okay? It's a simple game from a AA studio that doesn't have a massive skill tree like Diablo, okay? It doesn't have the budget of Diablo. It doesn't have the game makers of Diablo. It's not the same studio as Blizzard making Diablo, man. You got Compulsion Games. And what they presented to the gamer, to us, was fantastic. Once again, hats off to Compulsion Games, man, for this one. What a remarkable play. What a fantastic, game to go through. All right? It's not the best, but great job. Okay? It's completed. Rushed at the end. You can tell it's probably missing a boss battle or two in there when it's got those kind of bigger, beefier kind of sections. It's got a lot of wasted, beautiful level design and stuff like that they really didn't do too much with when you get into some of those other, different painted regions and, layouts. The different skin on the map, all right? You're doing the same stuff in all of them. You're doing your arena-based combat. Yeah, nothing breaks the mold, but it's playable. We got at least, 6 to 10 hours out of it at least. They might add a new game plus. If they did, would we go through it again? Probably not. The game's not worth talking about it being Game of the Year. The game's not worth talking about it in the realm of a lot of categories, probably. The game is better than what it was painted out to be. It isn't as injected or fleshed out from what we were told it was. We enjoyed our time with it. It was solid enough gameplay that it presented. Nothing that broke the mold or did anything new or innovative that told players and gamers, hey, this company, look at all this. With the exception of the art. The art style's fantastic. Fantastic. The music could have been. It could have been, but it missed that Death Stranding greatness. Death Stranding music. Phenomenal. South of Midnight music. Oh, you could have. You tried. Valiant effort attempt, but you kind of fucked up in some areas, okay? Selection being a portion of it, okay? The reflective narrative gameplay element interwoven into some of those song choices and such. Some of it a little necessary for backstory on parts of it, sure, but inherently there's some elements of it that, sure, make it not perfect. It's not as bad as we were told it was. Shit, even if it, we would say that it probably lands a 7 out of 10. Okay? There's better out there. There's fucking worse out there. Inherently, you gotta find the games that are right for you, sure. You gotta find the games that call your name and tell you to go through it. What's not good is when you're told a game is telling you not to go through it, or not experience it, or not partake in any aspect of it, okay? When inherently there is some value there that intrinsically makes it worth checking out in one way, shape, or form or element. Even if we were to tell folks, go through South of Midnight until you rescue the giant fish that you try and, fuck his brains out. It just seems to fit. I think that's what the game's about, fucking that fish's brains out. I don't know. It's not our fault. It's not our fault. That Lonely Island is very efficient in their storytelling and delivery. And when we think of giant fish, we have reflections of being the boss. Got a giant fish. You meet a giant fish in South of Midnight too. So whether the story progresses from there or we mix up that song and the game itself, whatever, get over it. The point is that this game, there's a lot more to it. In that art style, art direction, you play the game for the experience of that art up until the point or shortly thereafter where you drop the fish. You get the big fish on your side, giving you rides around the swamp and bayou. You play to that part, man, and stop and be like, okay, there's your art. Okay? Past that, you're going to get more of what's been done before. But there's enough there to keep you coming back to it should you get into it and feel like going through it. Is it necessary to? No. Is it the best game ever? No. Game of the year? No. But it better be in that discussion for something about that art style, that art direction, those artistic takes. Okay? So that stop-go animation, that claymation, that pixel animation, all interwoven together, that's some phenomenal stuff. Ooh, Compulsion Games. Stick with some of that. This one might have got a not well-received release, but you have, I think, got the short end of the stick on that. And perhaps one or two other folks may agree. Perhaps one or two other folks may check it out. Perhaps everyone's like, nah, fuck that game, that shit sucks. In which case, we don't care. Do whatever. What you need to do is get off our lawn because you're beginning to leave footprints on it. So we don't need your subscription, we need your money. Download the shit out of this and give us a buck. Get off our lawn.